po si G Tongi. Welcome to Kababayan Today. Ang guest natin ngayong araw na to, Jose Antonio Vargas, is a journalist, filmmaker, and immigration rights activist. Ipinanganak siya sa Pilipinas, lumaki dito sa Amerika, kasama ang kanyang lolo at lola. He was part of the Washington Post team that won the Pulitzer Prize in 2008 for coverage of the Virginia Tech shooting. Vargas, in June of 2011, wrote an essay in the New York Times Magazine, and he came out as what we call in our community TNT, which of course isn't politically correct anymore. His undocumented story was published on Time Magazine as a cover story, and bluntly, he has become the face of immigration reform in the country. He's making history, and that's why, for Filipino American History Month, we have him joining us in the studio. Magandang umaga! Magandang hapon, rather, Jose. Thank you for coming to the studio.
Thank you for having me. I have to say, by the way, I think some people, some Filipinos, I know this for a fact, are embarrassed about the fact that I am, quote unquote, one of the faces of the immigrant rights movement. Para bang nakakahiya na, you know, one of the prominent faces is Filipino. I've had people actually approach me and said, like, why don't you just come home to the Philippines and be a journalist there? Like, we need journalists there. Like, you don't need to be here for that.
But you're making a difference here, Jose, and that's why we're talking, because really, you're making history. That's not. I mean, I know you're humble.
Well, I mean, I just don't want to think of it that way. I think of it as, but I mean, again, my point is, for some people, this is an embarrassment, and I just find that really interesting. I mean, I think Filipinos, you know, we're a very proud people, but I think we're also there's a sense of hiya, right? There's the things of like it's kind of like not even calling our food by their actual names in front of people who aren't Filipino, right? Like, you don't call it, you know, go out in front of white people. You say, like, you know,
it's
chocolate
like,
meat.
yeah,
right?
blood stew,
yes,
right?
exactly.
We try to package it a little bit nicer.
I mean that's what we call undocumented people TNT, right? Like, I mean, I mean, that literally translates to tago ng tago. You're supposed to hide. You're not supposed to, like, say it out loud.
Yeah, but that's why you're different, Jose.
Yeah,
Bakit ang lakas ng loob mo? Bakit?
Hindi ko alam. I don't know. I think, well, I mean, I actually feel like I owe it to this country in a way, because I feel like this country made me this way.
Okay, but
you know?
What prompted you? What happened in your life that you said, ayoko na magtago, I want to come out, I want to tell my story?
Well, it was after I was about to be 30, and I had just written a profile of Mark Zuckerberg for the New Yorker, and this is a profile that a lot of people wanted to get, and I got it. So after that, I was like, and at that point, my first film that I worked on had just premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival.
Which is documented?
No, it was like the Other City.
Oh, okay. This is another film.
Yeah, my first film that I worked on, my first experience in documentary filmmaking, was a documentary on HIV/AIDS in Washington, D.C. It premiered at Tribeca Film Festival and aired on Showtime. So that's my first film. So around that time, I was just like, it almost became as if the more successful I got, the more scared I got. And a lot of it is because of my grandmother, my Lola. Because
why? Ano sinasabi ng Lola mo sa'yo?
I mean, they didn't understand what I was doing, right? And so the more they saw my name being written, when the Pulitzer happened, right, in 2008, I mean, instead of being proud of it, my grandmother was very scared that my name was all over the papers.
At baka ma-discover na, ay nako,
exactly.
Yung aking apo walang papeles.
Walang papel.
O paano na?
Nananalo ng awards, pero walang papeles.
O paano yun?
Nakakaya, so all of that, right? So, 2 years after the Pulitzer, here I am, like, I was making a film, I was just getting published in the New Yorker, and I decided that I had to stop, and I had to just make a choice. It's either I self-deport. I actually thought about this. I thought,
uuwi ka sa Pilipinas. Ano,
I thought,
what's there
or
for
Canada,
you?
or Canada.
Ah.
I thought either go to the Philippines, come out from the Philippines, like you know, people were asking me to write a book on Mark Zuckerberg.
Hindi ka na makakabalik kung bumalik ka doon.
So, but again, like, I was thinking either go to the Philippines, come out from there, or go to Canada, where there's a lot of Filipinos, and come out from Canada. So those were like the two options. The third option, which took at least 3 or 4 months to really research was come out here, like stay here.
And
come
we're not
out
talking
here.
about coming out as a gay man.
No, I mean I already did that.
Okay.
I did that when I did that when I was a teenager.
Okay.
So
but
I
this
did
was
that.
coming out with wala kang dokumento.
Walang papeles, walang documento. I'm not supposed to be here. I lied in government forms. I committed felony and fraud. All of that.
Okay, you have a lot in common with a lot of Filipinos that are here.
Yeah. Hey, actually, so out of 1.3 million undocumented Asian people in America, the largest population out of that is Filipinos. It's estimated around 300,000. I think it's more than that.
Yeah.
Frankly.
When it comes to statistics, Jose knows his
I know.
statistics.
I'm a
right?
reporter at heart, so I know all that stuff.
Right, okay.
So,
when we return here on Kababayan Today, pag-uusapan pa natin lahat ng mga issue mo. Ang daming issue ni Jose Antonio Vargas. But like I mentioned, it's Filipino-American History Month, so we're talking to him about his legacy, really. We'll be back on Kababayan Today.